Okay, hello and welcome to Attack on Titan chapter 136. So, this chapter really caught me off guard. The situation as to when the chapter would be released this month was a little bit of a mess because of stuff going on. I'm sure if you've been keeping up with the manga community, you know what's been going on, but yeah, usually the way it works is I keep an eye out for when the leaks come out. I don't look at the leaks, but I keep an eye for when they come out, and then when they come out, that's when I know, okay, leaks are out. Now I need to be ready and prepared for the chapter to potentially come out at any moment. But this month, there weren't any leaks as far as I can tell. And if there were leaks, I'm pretty sure they were just like official previews or something, not actual leaks. So, yeah, this chapter coming out today completely caught me off guard. I was expecting I'd probably have to wait until maybe the 8th or the 9th. But no, it came out today, a little bit earlier than I was expecting. Which is an issue because I had plans for today. But it's okay. I've managed to clear a little slot in my schedule to watch this. So, yeah. If this video is coming out a bit later than normal, sorry for that. That's just because the chapter came out in a bit of a time where I was all busy because, like I said, I wasn't expecting the chapter to be out already. But yeah. I'm very excited to see what's going on. The season 4 of the anime is going out at the moment, as I'm sure you're all aware, and that is amazing. New episode this weekend. I am incredibly excited for it. One of the episodes I'm sure we've all been waiting ages to see animated. So that's going to be amazing. So yeah, I don't want to delay any longer. So yeah, let's just get straight into the chapter. Let's go. Okay, welcome back to chapter 136. And I just realised Ymir ate you too. It's a pig. It's a pig titan. It's a pig titan. It makes perfect sense to represent Ymir because she freed the pigs, right? Wow, I literally just realised that right now as I was going back to film this discussion. But yeah, wow, another really cool chapter. I feel like whenever there's a chapter with lots of character stuff, I feel like I'm really gonna need to just take my time, give it like a couple days to just really just think about it, you know? Because sometimes with character stuff, it's like, okay, there's lots of ways this can be interpreted. I really just need to sit and think over it and look back at past chapters and episodes and really think about this in context, you know? So yeah, I'm not going to be able to discuss everything in this discussion because this is the discussion I'm making directly after reading it. So, you know, it's only natural something you're going to have to take time to set in. But um, let's go back over this. Yeah. In fact, I wonder. Yeah, no, we'll just do that. Yeah, let's go back over it. So yeah, we start here, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where although I'm sure people won't like the fact that pages are being used up when we're this close to the end on the Eldians and the Marleyans down here on this little plateau, I do think it's important because this whole conflict, the reason any of this is happening to begin with, is because of the conflict between Eldians and Marleyans. With Marley wiped out, these are perhaps some of the last Eldians and Marleyans in existence. These might be some of the in fact, these might be the last in existence. Yeah, assuming Marley's already been completely destroyed. And there might be some Eldians left in other places of the world, of course. But when it comes to Marleyans, these could literally be the last Marleyans left alive. Along with a good amount of the last Eldians left. At least the ones living in Marley. So, while of course I can understand people not liking the fact that pages are being used up on them, at the same time I do feel like this is important to see and to show because it represents what's the way to describe it? It represents the whole conflict that caused this to begin with being shown in a very specific controlled environment, right? The fact that even now, as the end of the world is literally walking towards them, they can't get over their hatred for each other. I suppose it somewhat makes sense. Not that I agree with it, but it somewhat makes sense. It's like, okay, we've got this Elgin monster coming to destroy us, right? Who is coming to, on behalf of the Elgians, to kill the outside world. And we have these Elgians here. What if they are gonna kill us? What if they're on Aaron's side? You know, I guess I can understand that fear. But yeah, I'm sure they'll unite. They'll unite. I mean, I suppose no. I'm pretty sure they'll unite. Maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be a thing where it's like, even in this situation, Eldians and Marleyans just can't get along and it's a bleak ending or something like that. But I feel as though it's something I mentioned last chapter about the cannons they're using here. We've gotten past the stage where stuff doesn't work, right? We had that section of the story. We had that section of the story where it's like, okay, we try to stop Eren through various means. We try to stop him by shooting off his head. We try to stop him by going and getting these blimps and dropping bombs down on the rumbling. Like, we've gone through the phase of the story where we try to stop Eren and it doesn't work. So I feel like now everything that's going to happen is going to work. That's not a good way of phrasing it, because of course we're still going to have things that fail and things that don't work, and yeah, we're still going to have that stuff, right? But what I mean is, like, we're past the stage where people are going to try something like cannons, and no, it didn't work, because, I mean, that could happen. That could happen if Isayama wants to go for, like, the ending where the alliance fails and Eren destroys the world. That is possible, right? But I mean, if we go under the assumption that it's heading towards an alliance victory, then we are past the point in which weapons they're going to try and use aren't going to work. You feel me? Like, they're not going to fire these guns and be like, oh no, it did nothing, we're failures, right? Even if it doesn't actually physically do anything to Eren, it could just be a symbolic thing of having the Eldians and the Marleyans working together on the cannons. Even if the cannons themselves do absolutely nothing to even give Eren a little tickle on his face, right? Just the symbolic gesture of having the Marleyans and Eldians working together to use them would be in and of itself an important thing, right? Devote your hearts. And that's what everyone's doing in this chapter, right? Everyone is dedicating their heart to something. Everyone is putting their life on the line for the sake of saving the world, pretty much. And we have Falco flying about. Yeah. And we have the discussion between everyone. Yeah. They abandoned the boat. Kiyomi and Yelena are still out there. I don't know how they're going to be relevant to the story from now on, if they even are relevant in any way. I suppose, I don't, like, I mean, like, how would they even get here, right? How would they even get here? But yeah, maybe, I wonder if Armin could send a message to the Eldians on the plateau to change the tide and make them work alongside the Marleyans. That's a possibility, if Armin and Zeke were to do that. Yeah. And Falco is going to save Gabi. I hope that's not a death flag, because I don't want Falco to die. I hope that's not a death flag. I feel like the Titan power being destroyed, especially if they destroy the source of the power that is the weird centipede thing. If they destroy that, I feel as though that is a potential way they could get rid of the Curse of Ymir, I guess. Which, we never really had it explained why the Curse of Ymir even exists to begin with, really. I mean, they said that it's because Ymir lived for 13 years. And so, since no one is as powerful as her, no one can live past how long she lived, right? But it's not as though Ymir died because her power consumed her body. She seemed to be doing just fine, and then she took a spear through the neck and died, right? So it wasn't actually related to her power that caused her to die. She chose to die, kind of, when she got hit in the neck and then was like, you know what, fuck this king, I'm just going to let myself die. And then she went to paths. Unless she's not dead, and that's the point. Like Armin was saying, how he can't be dead because he's still thinking he's in the path. So that raises the question, is Ymir actually dead? Because Eren isn't dead, but he's in paths right now. But maybe Ymir went to the paths dimension and then her in-world body was eaten. But then that would mean she's dead. Unless being in paths prevents you from dying, like your mind, kind of like how Ryan has shifted his consciousness, maybe Ymir shifted her consciousness to paths. So even though her physical body is dead, she herself isn't dead. Because that's the thing, is like, did she die and then go to paths, and like the paths was the afterlife for her in some weird way? But maybe not, maybe she just went to paths as an escape for her horrible situation, and then her body got killed. Her body got eaten and she became stuck in paths, unable to move on. But man, I've got lots of ideas going through my head now. But yeah, so they're splitting into two teams. As well, I was theorizing about this at the very beginning of the chapter, how they might, Mikasa leads a team, Annie leads a team, they go to either side. But it seems no, Mikasa and Annie are actually staying together, which is nice. I like that. We've got the two people, Mikasa and Annie, Jean and Reiner, who were at each other's throats the most, now being forced to work together on something, which is nice. It's a nice little touch. I like that. One group's going after Armin, the other's going after Eren. But this is what I was thinking about. Would Eren be willing to kill his friends, right? Because okay, there's two possibilities. Possibility one, he is willing to kill his friends, in which case, I suppose you could interpret it as he wants to save his friends, but he still values the end game that he sees as like the world being in a better place, you know, all that good stuff. Another possibility would be that he isn't willing to kill his friends. He doesn't want them to die. But then that raises the question of why are the shifters attacking them in the first place? If the whole thing was Eren's like, okay, you know, if you want to come kill me, fine, but you're going to have to kill me because I'm not going to take away your freedom and stop you from doing that. So, you know, unless he doesn't view using the shifters as taking away their freedom. But then again, the whole point was that he wants to save them, right? So that's kind of counterintuitive if he then attacks them with shifters. Unless, of course, Ymir is the one doing it because she is not their friend and she's happy to kill them. But then that would mean Ymir is still able to control the power, even though the Founding Titan was presumably passed on to Eren. Unless it wasn't entirely passed on to Eren, and Ymir and Eren both have the power now, which would make sense since they both appeared as children in the past world. They're kind of one and the same now. They're kind of being looked at as the same entity, right? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need time to think about this because there's lots of different possibilities. I'm gonna need time to kind of like think about it in my head and really mull it over and really come to a kind of conclusion on what I think on that. But yeah, we got a lot of character stuff this chapter, which is nice. I love character stuff mixed in with the action. I like it when they mix in character stuff with action. Last chapter was fun, but it was mostly just action, right? Not much character stuff. And there are other chapters which are only character stuff, which is nice, but it's also nice to get a bit of action sprinkled in there too, you know what I mean? So it's these chapters where it's like a nice mix of action and character stuff is really nice. I like that. And then Mikasa is just really broken up about having to kill Eren, which makes sense, you know. It makes tons of sense. Like I said, there's no one in this world she cares about more than Eren, right? But Eren is the one person she has to kill to do what she believes is right, which it just sucks so much, right? It sucks so much. So I completely understand where she's coming from in that. It's a shame. Yeah. And they both have someone they want to save. Annie wants to save Armin. Yeah, that was the right names. Mikasa wants to save Eren. And then they bring up the centipede thing. It's interesting that they bring up the centipede thing. That means that it is going to be important. Gabby wouldn't have brought it up here if it wasn't going to be important. It looked like a shining centipede or something, and it connected to Eren's head. That's the Founding Titan. No, it's the... if that's the true nature of the power of the Titans, we might see it again if we decapitate him. In which case, you wouldn't need to kill Eren. Okay, you can't kill Eren, you can't kill Ymir, but what you can do is decapitate Eren, have the little centipede boy wiggle out, and then blammo, blast it, destroy it. I don't even know if you could destroy something like that, but in theory, if you could, you know, maybe you could have Armin there, have him fucking nuke the thing, right? But then that raises the question of, is the centipede itself, does it have power, or is it just the source of the power? For example, the reason Armin is able to transform right now is because Eren is allowing him to, and presumably Ymir too. They're allowing him to transform. That's why he's able to use the power, because he's being allowed to. If they didn't want him to use the power, he wouldn't be able to. So if the centipede thing also has the power to use Founding Titan powers, then it could potentially stop Armin from transforming to destroy it. But it might not have the powers itself, it might just be a source of the powers that's being used by Eren and Ymir. But it itself, on its own, as an isolated thing, might not have those powers, potentially, right? That's what I'm trying to get across here. That seems like it's the direction it's going to go. They're going to decapitate Eren. I wonder if Gabby's going to do that. Fucking on top of Falco's bird, no-scope him from 10 miles away. But yeah, I say no-scope as I show myself looking down a scope, which is kind of stupid, but yeah, but that's what, you know, you get what I'm saying. And then we have this whole thing, I already talked about this earlier, the Eldians and the Marleyans in conflict again. The world is literally coming to an end around them and they're still fighting. Chill, guys. And Annie's dad stands in the middle as a mediator for the conflict. Then we see Annie's dad look over at the guy who I believe was flying the plane, I think? Driver, since when did you... Yeah, I think that's the guy they was talking to before, maybe. And then this guy comes forward. This guy is the one who earlier was like, oh, if I could go back and take it all back and, blah, 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 blah. If we survive this, I swear we'll do things differently. He was that guy. So I assume that this is him, he's coming in the middle. He's going to give his speech about how we need to work together, blah, 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 all that good stuff. That seems like what's going to happen. Because they don't show them actually firing at each other, right? I mean, there's a possibility they just did it for dramatic effect, but generally the rule is if you don't see it happen on screen, it didn't happen. There are some exceptions to that, like Ymir dying, but generally speaking, they cut away from it. That means he didn't shoot them in the head, right? They're still each other's throats, Falco, yeah. And then we have the Warhammer Titans shooting after Falco. Falco is whizzing and zooming around the arrows, being a little badass, flying around. Good thing he fucking knows how to fly. That's very convenient. But I suppose it's like Eren, right? Eren knew how to transform by biting his hand. He didn't know how he knew it. It was just like instinct. So we could use the same excuse for Falco, I guess. The same way Eren just knew how to transform. The same way the armored Titan just knows how to use armor. It's just an instinctual thing that comes along with being the Titan shifter. And Reiner jumps down. Boom! Begins fighting with all these Warhammer Titans and stuff. Nice. He holds them back while Jean goes ahead. Then Pieck. I still don't know why this Warhammer Titan didn't just throw Pieck off the edge and let her fall to her death. That's still weird. I don't know why they did that. Maybe someone will be able to give me a reason, but as of right now it seems kind of just like a plot convenience that it hasn't already just killed Pieck. I feel like a decent amount of time would have happened. A decent amount of time would have passed between when she got captured in the first place and now. But she pops out the Titan, and then she, bites herself. Oh, it looks like she, bites her thumb and, fucking tears a piece off. That's horrible looking. And then she does this whole thing where she's transforming, bopping from person to person like a goddamn cannonball, transforming a whole bunch of times. And it makes sense, right? She has a huge stamina, so it makes sense she'd be able to transform a bunch of times. I just wonder... The only thing I wonder with that is if it's going to potentially, cause issues if you go back to previous chapters. Hey, if she can do this, then why didn't she just do this back in such and such chapter? You know what I mean? It does make me wonder if having Pieck be a total badass here, doing this whole pop out of the back of the neck like a cannonball and transform again, is going to potentially cause issues when you go back to previous fights and why didn't she do that then? But I guess that's something we'll only be able to see in hindsight, right? We'll have a look. I'll have a look. And there's a lot of Titans around here to get. Jaw Titans specifically, which is a problem because Jaw Titans are kind of tough. I don't know if you've noticed. And then you have this really nice moment where Annie actually recognises that it's Bertolt. And I could see this going a few ways. Maybe because of Bertolt's love for Annie, he's able to take over his Titan and blah, 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 something like that, through the Paths dimension or something, I don't know. The fact that they're having Annie and Bertolt confront each other here isn't a coincidence, though. It's not like, whoops, I flipped a coin. Oh, I guess it's Annie who's going to confront Bertolt. All right, no, there's definitely a reason for this. They're doing it for a reason. It's not a coincidence that Annie is the one who's going to confront Bertolt here, right? That's not a coincidence. There's a reason for that. And I'm very interested to see what it is, because it could be a lot of things, and I like all of them. Well, I like most of them. Mikasa, yeah. And then we have this thing where Mikasa's like, that thing, the pig thing, what's the thing, Majiggy? She doesn't, she's having difficult communicating. And then the pig titan, it's Ymir. Makes sense. I mean, unless all the titans are Ymir. Unless it's if you get eaten by any titan. Ooh, that's interesting, actually. That's interesting. Okay, this makes me... Okay, let's separate this into two different categories. Category 1, Ymir is the one controlling these titans. Category 2, Eren is the one controlling these titans. That's two different categories, right? Let's go category 1. If Ymir is the one controlling these Titans, then that goes into what I was saying earlier about how Eren doesn't want to kill them, but Ymir is willing to because he doesn't care about them. And does that mean if they get eaten by any Titan, they get taken into paths because she's controlling them all? Or does it specifically mean this pig Titan specifically is Ymir's Titan, right? I mean, we did see Ymir's Titan, but that was founding Titan Ymir. What if this is like another like if she was the cart Titan, this is what she'd look like, kind of thing, you know what I mean? That she looks like a pig Titan, which of course is fitting. I don't have to explain why, I'm sure you already know. But yeah, and of course also if an Okapi or whatever it was called has some kind of symbolism, that's also possible. But yeah, the other possibility is that it's Eren who is controlling these, including that pig one. And when Zeke says you were eaten by Ymir, that could, if we ignore the previous possibility I just mentioned about how it was Ymir who ate them, but if we go under the assumption that this is Eren controlling even this one, which I'm assuming it's not, but let's just pretend for a second for the sake of thinking about it, and he ate Armin, that would mean that he ate Armin and transported him to paths. Maybe that's what he plans to do with all of them. He plans to eat them and transport them to paths where they'll be safe from the conflict and, you know, where, like, he'll beat them without killing them kind of thing. And as for why Zeke said you were eaten by Ymir, maybe it's because he's using Ymir's power, so Ymir ate them, but it was under Eren's orders or something like that. Again, I think the first option with it being Ymir, literally, you know, she's the one who's doing it, I think that's a lot more likely. I'm going over the other possibility too, because it is a possibility I want to mention, even if I do think it's a lot less likely. Okay, and then they jump down, and then they begin chasing, and then we have this monologue from... I went through like 5 names in my head there before I got Levi. Where we have another ill-fated Levi monologue. Levi has never had a monologue which hasn't been followed by disaster every single time. He monologues before Isabel and Farlan are killed, he monologues before Levi's squad are killed, he monologues before... He monologues before Zeke turns the Titan, his fellow scouts into Titans. He's never had a monologue that's gone well for him. So yeah, this is definitely death flags for me. Oh, let's reread through this though. Where is Zeke? Where is he? Even if I did find him though, I'd just be a burden in this state. I've never it still makes me laugh for some reason. Bungled. It's so stupid that I'm laughing at that of all things, but I am. It's funny. I've never bungled one of his orders. Not even once, and yet for some reason his final order is the one that I just can't. Yeah. Our roll. We got the breast of the sea. Tell me, when you guys devoted yourselves, was that in order to trample the hearts and lives of others? No. We dreamt of a world without Titans. I'm pretty sure that was an absurdly innocent, idealized world, because if it wasn't, it won't have been worth what they devoted. Yeah... Damn. And we have all the scouts sitting around. Now he's having his moments of like, can you see them? You know, he's having that moment too now, which isn't good. Because no one's had a can you see them moment who hasn't fucking died straight afterwards. So, yeah. Damn. Levi's such a great character. Levi gets a lot of shit as a character because he's the most popular one. Because he's the most popular one, people like to shell on him basically just because he's popular. It's like, oh, he's the popular guy, so I'm gonna seem cool by trashing him. You know, people like to be like, but Levi genuinely is a really cool character. He's one of my favorites in the manga and the show. He's really great. People like to trash him because he's the popular character, which makes it the cool thing. Like, he's the popular one, so it's cool to trash him. But he's a really cool character. I like him a lot. Yeah. Man. I didn't pick you, and I have no regrets about that. About entrusting the future to the kid who has the same look in his eyes as you. Yeah. See, when I read through this the first time, he said, I didn't pick you. I thought he meant I didn't pick you, as in I didn't pick to follow you. But he did, I think? I can't quite remember. I'd have to rewatch. I think it's like... it was a thing where he wanted to follow Erwin because Erwin was looking and seeing something that Levi couldn't and all that good stuff. Okay, but it's clear now he means I didn't pick you as in with the serum at Serum Bowl, right? That's what he meant, which makes more sense. But we have a lot of character stuff here. We had... We had a bit of Falco, we're having some Levi, we have some Armin later on, which is also great. And then the little piggy boy runs away. We have Mikasa, we have the cool little callback to season 1 where she throws Mikasa the same way Eren threw her to capture her in the first place. Yeah. But then Titans throw themselves over the Ymir Titan. Yeah. Which is another good thing, because the fact that they're going out of their way to prevent Armin from being able to transform means that him being able to transform is actually a big deal, right? Because think of it this way. If Armin transforming wouldn't have any effect at all, then why would Ymir bother trying to stop him from transforming? Like, go ahead, transform, see what good it'll do. Like, no. The fact that they're trying so hard to prevent him from transforming means that it would be a bad thing for Ymir and Eren if he did transform. Because if it didn't matter, then he wouldn't bother trying to stop them in the first place. Also, I just realised this is a really unpleasant-looking female Titan, I just noticed. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. Yeah, and then the armoured Titan comes up. Yeah. And the blade smash. She's about to get grabbed, and then Annie comes up, boop, kicks off his head. Wonderful little teamwork. Oh, man. See, this is another thing that makes me wonder about whether or not Attack on Titan final season, the second part will be as a season or a movie. Because hear me out here, right? Hear me out. The reason Annie was shown in 2D in episode 3, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong about this, but this is just what I've come to understand, is the reason she was shown in 2D is because she's only showing up in that scene, right? Think of it this way. From episode 1 of season 4, part 1, if there is a part 1 and this isn't just the whole season, let's assume there's a part 1. In fact, no, okay, let me start again because I fucked up everything I just said there. Attack on Titan season 4, the 16 episodes that we know of, will cover from the beginning of the Marley arc to roughly when Eren activates the Founding Titan. And that happens, Eren activating the Founding Titan, right before Annie shows back up in the story. Meaning that for that entire 16 episodes, Annie only shows up that one time. In which case, it would be significantly easier for them to just 2D animate her that one time than to create a whole 3D model for her just so they can use her once and then never again, right? So, the fact they didn't create a 3D model for her, even though she appears so much in this section of the story, she appears at the harbour fighting the Jaegerists, she appears here, for example, she appears a lot more during this section of the story, could potentially indicate that they're going to do this part as a movie, and that's why they didn't bother creating a 3D model for her, because they only need to animate her the one time during the show, and then everything after that will be done as a movie rather than the show. Or it could just be that they're only going to create a 3D model once they get to part 2, because maybe that's just how they do things. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the anime here. I should really stop doing that because this is a manga review, not an anime review. So let's move on. Yeah. Ooh, and then yeah, they're all... Connie. It's interesting that Connie's here. I wonder if Connie's going to do something. The pig is running for Bertolt. And yeah, it's not a coincidence that Annie and Bertolt are having to confront each other here. That's not a coincidence at all. And then we have this great moment where Armin's looking over his own body, talking to himself, and talking about his own personal issues, right? We've seen a lot from Armin, how he feels as though he was the wrong choice. He feels as though he wasn't the one who should have been saved because he's been nothing, like Eren said, he's been nothing but useless since he was revived. And Armin is expressing these own things to himself, like, I hate you, I always hated you, the fact that you couldn't live up to the expectations that were given to you, all that stuff. It's literally him just yelling at himself about his own, like, issues and problems, right? But then he's not dead. Like I mentioned earlier, he might just be in paths. He is in paths. And this is a good point, right? It's not even afterlife. This is path. This is reality. So he's not dead. He's not dead. Probably. He's not dead. He said, wait, think. If I was really dead, how would I be able to think? Okay, there we go. That's a starting point. So he's not dead. He's in the paths dimension and he's not dead. But then Ymir is in the paths dimension and her body was eaten. So... But I guess Armin doesn't know about that, right? So it makes sense that he'd think that way. And then we see Zeke. And this is Zeke we know now. This is the Zeke with the haircut and the beard trimmed. Which actually I wonder if that might be a bit of a plot hole, potentially. Thinking about it, because... Okay, because when Zeke was transported to the Paths dimension back in chapter 119. Heron's head touched his hand, and within a millionth of a second, Zeke appeared, then Eren appeared. But in that fraction of a second between Zeke appearing and Eren appearing, Zeke's hair had grown out, he got a long beard, he got a long hair, he looks like fucking Jesus. Because that fraction of a second was long enough for Zeke to be there for fucking years, right, in the Paths world. And yet, Zeke has been in here a lot longer. It's been a lot longer than a few seconds. It's been days. It's been days, right, since Eren became the Founding Titan. So if his hair can grow that much just in a fraction of a second, still can't click, then it's interesting that his hair's fine now, even though he's been here days. Unless this works slightly differently, but I don't think it would. This might just be a plot hole. Not a plot hole. This might just be like a bit of an inconsistency, maybe. Unless it's only the Path's body that changes and not the... Damn. I'm trying to wrap my head around how Paths work, because there's two Armins here. There's his real body and his Path's body. So would this be Zeke's Path's body? Or would this be his real body? Because his real body is there, right? His real body is there. Okay, now I'm just confused. Now I'm confused. So Armin has two bodies here. But the physical body can be healed. And Zeke, when he was brought to Paths the first time, he was in his physical body because we saw Ymir healing his physical body with sand. Damn, I'm confused now. Hopefully this will get cleared up next chapter, because I'm a bit confused about how Paths works. That Armin has two bodies here. But then when Zeke first arrived in Paths, he was in his actual body because he was getting healed. But then when he arrived in Paths the second time, it wasn't his actual body because... when Zeke and Eren arrived, it wasn't their actual bodies because their actual bodies in the real world were completely different to their bodies in Paths. And Eren wasn't healed. So maybe Ymir can choose to bring... Maybe you have to be certain circumstances to be brought to the Paths dimension that way. Because when Zeke was brought to the Paths dimension to be healed up, Ymir specifically crawled up to him and stuck him in his stomach, right? It wasn't like he just blacked out, went to Paths and then came back. It was like this whole thing where the Titan stuck him in his stomach and then the Titan vanished and Zeke came out. So maybe that was a unique circumstance where it was his physical body being transported there somehow to be healed up. And then the time with Eren and Zeke in chapter 119, it was different circumstances. It wasn't their physical bodies being transported, it was their Paths bodies, which is how it would normally work maybe. And the first time when Zeke physically went there with his actual physical body was an exception due to the fact that Ymir came and put him in the stomach and did some kind of weird thing. And whenever we get new Path stuff, it fucking destroys my brain for a while. I'm gonna have to think about this. And this is the meeting I never knew I wanted, but now I see it, I really want it. Oh, I never knew I wanted this. I never knew I wanted this meeting. Oh, well, this is so cool, though. Hello, Mr. Zeke. Hello, Eren's friend. Oh, that's nice. So Ymir ate you two. So we have confirmation on what happened to Zeke, then Ymir ate him. When did that happen? I guess it would have happened at some... it could have happened at any point, I guess. Man. Oh, yeah. What a chapter that was. My brain, I think, is about to blow up. It's about to die. And like I mentioned, I have a bit of a busy day today and I still got work to do. I need to edit this. Not that there's much editing, but there is still a little bit of editing I need to do. I need to render it, create a thumbnail. The thumbnail will probably be a lot simpler today because I don't really have time to create a big complicated thumbnail, so I'll edit it, get it uploaded, bam it onto YouTube, ignore the comments section for a day because I always feel nervous checking the comments for some reason. And then, yeah. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say because like I said, I feel like my brain's going to fucking melt. There's a lot of stuff in this chapter that I think is going to take time for me to really process, like how exactly the Paths dimension works, all the character stuff. But that was a really fun chapter though. These last chapters, man, I'm hoping Isayama sticks the landing, with the ending. I'm hoping the ending is bam, rock solid. I'm sure people are going to fucking trash it regardless of what happens. I know the Attack on Titan community well enough. The Attack on Titan community loses their shit whenever a new fucking opening comes out. They start talking about how trash the new opening is. And then within a week, everyone's like, oh yeah, I love this song. It's great, I've been around the Attack on Titan community long enough to know they're going to fucking trash the ending no matter what it is. It could be a perfect ending. People will still hate it. So I know people are going to hate the ending because it's not going to be able to please everyone because there are so many different people with different opinions in this community. So I just hope that regardless of what the ending is, it's well made and well written and makes sense in the context of the story and isn't out of fucking nowhere. I don't think we're going to get a totally bleak ending. I think at this point we're not going to, because it reminds me of... Because the reason that Isayama changed his mind about that in the first place was because he felt it would be like disrespectful to the fans to give them a super bleak ending where everyone dies. And it's actually the same thing that Miura said, the writer of the Berserk manga. He said that, I don't know the exact quote, but he said something along the lines of that he doesn't want to give Berserk a bleak ending because it wouldn't feel right for such a bleak story to end bleakly, or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's like, you suffer through all this sadness and bleakness throughout the entire story. It's only fitting that it at least ends on a more positive note, right? Of course, that's not an exact quote. I can't remember the exact quote. That's probably not even close to the actual quote. My point is, though, that I feel as though we're not going to just get a bleak everyone dies ending at this point, because I feel as though that would... unless it was executed to absolute perfection, I feel like that would be a little bit disrespectful to the fans, and I think Isayama knows that. He's like, hey, this isn't just some short little manga I'm going to do with characters I don't really care about for a fan base of like 2,000 people. Like, no, this is a major thing, one of the biggest manga and anime in the world, in the history of the world, with characters that are some of the most popular in anime. I can't just like, whatever, I'll kill this one off here, kill this one off here, they'll all be dead by the end, like, But sorry, I'm rambling on now. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. I will probably check them at some point. If not, then I will get to them at some point. I don't know if I'll get to them today because I'm quite busy, but I will get to them at some point and give them a read through and probably reply to a good few of them. But yeah, leave a like on the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, because I don't just upload Attack on Titan stuff, I upload other stuff too. By the way, I should mention, Hunter x Hunter stuff will be coming in the next coming days. I haven't done any work on it so far because I've been winding down from all the Christmas and holiday stuff, and I've had a lot of stuff to do, but they will be coming. There might be a little bit of a delay before the next episodes, but they will be coming. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy this chapter as much as I do. I hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year, and I hope you all enjoy this new year, 2021. And yeah, see you next time.